spent a bit of time drawing the player sprites, so the player character finally has white bands. And also there's a climbing state built into the engine now, but we can't climb just yet. At the moment all that happens when I press the up key is that the player sprite goes into the climbing state, so the engine knows that it needs to be rendered differently. Obviously the code will have to be updated so that pressing up will either jump or climb depending on where the player is currently standing. That's the next thing that I'll be working on. And there's not much else to show at the moment, but there is one topic that I wanted to briefly talk about, which is clipping. And I probably should have mentioned this from the very beginning, because clipping was actually built into the engine prototype from the start. So what is clipping? It's basically drawing the sprite only partially, because other parts of it hang out of the screen. Not all games have this. Magician's Curse, for example, which I've previously referenced, doesn't have sprite clipping. Ikari Warriors only has vertical clipping, because when you move horizontally, the player is stopped at the edge of the screen. So similarly, any game where the player can't leave the screen doesn't need clipping at all. So Giz's game only has horizontal clipping, since the player won't leave the screen up or down, neither will the other sprites. So let's say there's a sprite here at the edge of the screen, and they move one character to the left. So where will they end up? So because the screen wraps around, the first column of the player's sprites would appear on the right. So for this reason, internally, the game uses a coordinate system where the X position from 0 to 4 means that the sprite is out of the screen to the left, and then 44 to 43 means that they are fully on screen, and 44 and above means that they're out of screen to the right. So this is very convenient because the only place that the code has to do some checking is when it's drawing the sprite characters onto the screen. And this is actually on the column level. So entire columns are always skipped. So what this means is that the sprites are actually always fully rendered, even if there's only one character column of a sprite that's visible on screen, the engine completely renders the entire sprite. So this is a bit of wasted effort, but I would not actually gain anything by not rendering it. And it's actually better to keep the code simple. So, well, that's clipping in a nutshell. And this is just one of those things that the Commodore 64 folks don't have to worry about at all, because the hardware sprites do this kind of clipping automatically. But for us, it can be quite a bit of effort.